much to say. Taking a look at this one, you can say, let's start with Utah. Let's look at their side of things. I mean, John Collins, he had 20 points, and this was the type of game that this was, because John Collins comes out, he has 20 points, and it was a quiet 20 points, like a quiet 20 points. You almost look at that, and go, "Oh, really? He scored 20 points?" And I love John Collins. I've gone to war with many a basketball head about my love for John Collins, and they tell me I'm dumb, but he had a pretty good game tonight. Walker Kessler comes out, he had 13 points. I mean, at one point, Walker Kessler gets a block on Jeremy Grant in the mid-range. Like, Jeremy Grant doesn't even go to the bucket. It's not at the rim. It is a 15-footer. Kessler gets the block, runs up the court. I don't even know if he's looking to score in transition. He's watching the ball and seeing what the team's doing. Nobody on Portland picks him up, and then he gets a free, easy alley-oop jam on the other end and one. And that was kind of just a microcosm of the game, getting beat on both ends handily by one player throughout this one. It was just absolutely brutal. Ball security was an issue again for your Blazers. The assist numbers were low. It's just like everywhere you look, you're just like, oh my goodness. Like, how do you accept it? How do you even talk about it? When you sit here in multiple losses now for the Blazers, the top 10 losses in team history, you look at all of them, and how many of them have come now in the last handful of years, and then you're just left scratching your head, just trying to understand what the heck's going on. And I think that's just the situation of it, man. There's just not much to do. Just another 40-point loss. A little bit reminiscent of that Memphis game, right? You get destroyed by Memphis in your own house when Ja Morant's not playing, Desmond Bane's not playing, Marcus Smart isn't playing, their depth is hurt, and they come in and destroy you. And then you look at this game, as Chauncey said post-game, and we'll hear him here in just a little bit, but, you know, Lauri Markkanen's a late scratch, and so the Blazers are really thinking, oh, okay, we got a real good chance here, we feel good about it, and then all these guys just come out and just punch you in the mouth. And it's like sometimes, you know, you want to get into a fight, you want to be a boxer until the first time you go to training and you get punched, and you're like, no, never mind. This isn't for me. And that's kind of what this one felt like tonight for the Blazers, man. And that's where it gets frustrating, because at some point it's just deja vu, right? It's just happening over and over and over, and you don't know what to do about it. You can't explain it. Now, if you want to join in on the chat, 503-248-0620 is the telephone number. You can also go over to YouTube, where I'm trying to do the YouTube thing. I'm vertical on my phone. Shacker keeps pointing at it like he's trying to get a finger in the camera, just so he's like, there he is. You guys don't get to see him very often. So you'll turn on YouTube, and I'm vertical because I didn't want to go horizontal. It was really messing with me. But you can go over there and tell us what you thought about this one, because there's just not much to think about. I mean, Coach Billups came out, and he said in the post-game presser, he's like, you know, he was kind of just quiet and going through and saying everything he needed to say, but then at the same time, he's like, don't get it twisted. Like, I'm pissed. Like, I'm mad. Like, this, it's like, but even he feels like he can't pinpoint it. It's just, it was a weird game. And I think this one is almost more so worse than that Memphis game, because after that Memphis game, you really did feel bad. Like, you watch the team and you're like, that was terrible basketball. They just got beat. You get it. It felt terrible. This one was a little bit different because there was stuff within the game that I think made it worse. I mean, DeAndre Ayton played only 2 minutes in the second half, gets subbed out for Jabari Walker. Coach Billups is asked about it post-game, and he just says, I didn't like their spirit. I didn't like his spirit. Didn't like his spirit. So your starting center gets pulled because you didn't like his spirit in the way he was playing. Like, that's terrible to me. That's absolutely terrible to me. And you can watch it. People were tweeting about it. And the amount of times DeAndre Ayton was just sitting in the paint, watching the ball go over his head. There was a situation where he didn't get the rebound. Utah gets out in transition. Denny Avdia is sprinting out there to try to break it up, and DeAndre just kind of watches it. And then he comes in at the end. There's always that guy who comes in at the very end of the play as if he ran down the court the whole time, but there was just lack of effort. And I mean, if there's anything I do applaud in this one, it was Coach Billups pulling out his starting center because he didn't like the way he was playing, didn't like the spirit with which he was playing. Now, where this team goes in the long run is interesting, because a game like this, and Jody Allen and Burt Cold were both sitting courtside next to Joe Cronin, right? So the owner of the team sitting there watching this absolute dumpster of a performance. And I can't wrap my head around even the people who are saying, well, Portland's bad. They were going to tank. You knew this was a tank season. And okay, I get that. We've all talked about the tank, right? We've all talked about how this season you were going to take some losses, capture the flag, yay, whatever other thing we can say to rally around because we know the team's going to be bad. But when the worst team in the Western Conference comes into your home court down a man and beats you by 40, that's not tanking. That's embarrassing. That's absolutely embarrassing. And so, no, I don't accept that one, that they're tanking, Chris. No, a team that is worse than them came in here and looked like they were world beaters. Now, I got to find these tweets. So let's go to Curtis Long. You guys know him, friend of the show. You hear his voice all the time on the broadcast. The principal, he tweeted out that the Jazz have not led any game this season by more than 20 points. They lead the Trailblazers by 32 late in the third quarter. That was when he tweeted that. They ended up winning by 40 plus. So it's like that's the type of game this was for Utah. He also tweeted out that the Trailblazers and Utah Jazz have played 207 regular season games against each other in 50 seasons. The Jazz 42-point win is the largest win ever over Portland. Previous high was 38 in 2002 and 1985. So there's some stats for you. Also, I was asked this question during the game on social, and that was, what is the worst loss that the Blazers have ever had at home? Interesting question. Now, I looked that up to get the answer, and the answer to that was just 2 seasons ago in the 2022-23 season, the Blazers lost by 56 to the Golden State Warriors, 101 to 157. That's a brutal game. That's the worst home loss of their top 4 losses. It's their 4th worst loss overall. Of those 4 losses, 3 of them on the road. Obviously, you had that big 65-pointer in 1997 against the Pacers on the road. You had this season, or last season, Oklahoma City on the road, a 62-pointer. Also last year, a 60-pointer. When Portland became the first team to not only lose 2 games by 60 points in their entire history, but the first team to lose 2 games by 60 points in a single season. Absolutely brutal stuff. All right, we're going to take our first break here of the show. If you want to join the conversation, you know what to do. 503-248-0620 is the telephone number, or you can go to youtube.com, join the conversation there. You can also go onto social. Chris J. Burkhart's the name. You can tweet at me, Blue Sky at me, Facebook me, Chris Burkhart Sports. Just type it in. You'll find me. I promise. Plenty more to come up as we break this down. Blazers once again fall to the Utah Jazz 141-99. The 5th quarter rolls on after break right here on your home of the Blazers, Rip City Radio 620. Four minutes? Beautiful. All right, we got 4 minutes. The fun part about doing YouTube from my telephone today, I tried something new. Like, could I make it look cool from my telephone? I need to figure out this whole horizontal vertical thing, but you know, I'm sitting here. Look at that. Look at that. That's a cool shot. Look at that court. It's beautiful. Oh, there's Shacker's hands. He likes to prove that he's here. But thanks for joining me here on the YouTube chat where the questions are coming in. Iron Rod, Billups still has a job, and the other team would have fired him by now. Unacceptable. And hey, I don't even know, man. Like it's brutal. I told you this last time, many times on the show. Right? I've been a Chauncey defender. I will fully admit that. I like when the people say, "Oh, I respect Chauncey because he's a great player." Like maybe I'm one of those guys. Like I loved Chauncey when he was with Detroit. Mainly because I love Detroit. They weren't my favorite team, obviously, but Rasheed Wallace is my favorite all-time player. So I followed him for his pit stop in Atlanta. I was in the building when he was traded. I've told you guys that story. And so I followed him in Detroit, too. So, I liked Rip. I liked Tayshaun. I liked Ben Wallace. And I liked Chauncey. So I like Chauncey as a player. And so I like to give him the benefit of the doubt. But it's demoralizing and frustrating when you look at the biggest losses in team history. So I have them pulled up here, looking at like the 10 biggest losses in team history. And 3 of the top 4 have happened in the last 3 seasons. Like you start going down, you got tied for 4th. There was a 56-point loss, as we said, the largest home loss against Golden State here. Then you had in 1976, there was also a 56-point loss. And in 24-25, you had that 45-point loss to the Grizzlies. In 23-24, you had the 43-point loss to the Oklahoma City Thunder. 21-22, a 43-point loss to Minnesota Timberwolves. 22-23, a 40-point loss to like. There's just so many of them have come in just the last handful of years. It's just, it's bad. Like, it's brutal. So again, I've defended him a lot, but that's indefensible, especially if you're supposed to be a defensive guy, which is the bill of goods we were sold, right? So that one's wild. And I mean, quite honestly, I was shocked. I felt that after the Memphis game he was done, because he was like, it took forever for him to get to the press conference room. Like, something's going on. Today was another one of those games. So I don't know. I don't know, because you can't continue to roll the same plan out there. It's quite obvious it's not working. I've said this so many times to you guys, but like I'll accept a loss when a team plays good basketball. And when you have bad games, I get that too, but they shouldn't happen this often. Like, that's the frustrating part. On paper, this team is good enough to not lose by 40 points twice at home in a matter of weeks. Like, that's just ludicrous. What else you got? Phil says 3 veterans started, still got blown out at home. I see another 4 or 5 seasons before they have the talent to compete in the West. It's crazy things could happen, but right now it doesn't look like they're close. I also think, though, Phil, I think there was some good to this season that's not in there right now, like Donovan Clingan, Robert Williams, right? They're not changing these performances by any means, but they're still good there to be hopeful about. So anyway, I'm going to be quiet for a second. This mic works for YouTube. This one works for radio. I'm back on radio in like 10 seconds, so I gotta shh. Shot of the night, drive of the night?
Okay. Just drive, and then we'll do Coach's Corner after the next break, and then we'll wrap it up.
Cool.
We have one more break.
Is this working? How's the audio, YouTube? Let me know in the comments. Am I a YouTuber now? Now, I asked Shacker, I said, shot of the night and drive of the night? He said, just drive of the night. And I said, to be fair, that was the shot and the drive and the make and the dunk and the whatever of the night. That was incredible. That was a highlight of this game, man. Shaedon Sharpe absolutely jumped out of the gym to get that basketball. And in the still shots, man, you got to find them. In those still shots, it's like his head was like at the rim and above it. That was pretty incredible. Now, during the break there, I was talking to the YouTube chat, and Iron Rod says 2 draft picks we tanked for, and they're not playing. That's sad. And I get that one. Here, my comment, though, is at least with Donovan Clingan, like, there's a little bit of a reason. And that MCL thing, man, I don't know if you've ever sprained your MCL. I've done it one time. It sucks. The hardest part about the recovery from that injury is that after the first few days, the pain goes away and, like, your leg feels like it's ready to go until you start doing your workouts, and then you just hit that one little tweak and boom. I mean, it's enough to send you down to the ground. I think that's the hard part. So I think you take the optimistic approach here to make sure he's absolutely ready to go, because with that particular injury, at least in my experience, and granted everybody's body acts a little bit different. In my experience, man, I felt like I was 100%. And until I started running, like if I'd get to a good jog, I'd feel good. And the minute I started going faster in that jog, I'd lose a little bit of stability in that knee. And gosh, it would just cripple me. It hurt so bad. Like, I wasn't doing more damage. It was just, the pain management was unbearable. So that's a hard injury to deal with. As for Scoot, this is less against Scoot and more against the fact that I just find it funny anytime someone misses time because of a bruise. Like I'm out because of a contusion, fancy word for bruise. And I also know it's a legit injury, but I always laughed when, like, Jonathan Stewart missed time in football because of turf toe. Like, that just sounds like the funniest injury. Like, how come you haven't played in 3 weeks? Turf toe. Like it feels like the equivalent of saying like I got a hangnail, can't play. It's weird. But those two injuries like I get. And Scoot has had his ups and downs. Klingon, the real unfortunate that he's not playing Rod because he was looking really good. He was rounding into form and absolutely loved what we were seeing. But the thing is, without Donovan Klingon and without Robert Williams, I mean, you're seeing this team struggle on the glass tonight. And granted, DeAndre Ayton got pulled in this one because he was, he was definitely going through the motions. But tonight, the Blazers got out-rebounded 50-28. And if you're listening to the pregame show, what were my keys to the game? Hustle and rebound. Because you got out-rebounded in the loss against the Clippers. You got to get work done on the glass. And that's what DeAndre Ayton's there for. And he only had, 3 rebounds against the Clippers? So it's like you got to get going. You got to figure this out. You got to find a way to get on the glass and get the basketball. Obviously didn't do it tonight. I mean, again, out-rebounded 50-28. That's unreal. Unreal numbers. It's actually, excuse me, that was just defensive rebounds. That was just defensive rebounds. They were actually out-rebounded 61-34. So 61 total rebounds for Utah, just 34 for your Trailblazers. They had 23 assists on the low end, closer to their average. The Jazz had 34 assists. So it's just like, man, I said, the Jazz turned the ball over. The Jazz lead the league in turnovers. You're supposed to be a good defensive team. You can get out here. You can get in the lanes. You can close windows. You can get Nope, not tonight. It just wasn't to be. So, again, just a weird game, man. I don't get it. I don't get it. This is something I talked about pregame with you guys, but focus has been the word of the last few weeks. Yeah, I just didn't think we were focused. We didn't come out. We weren't focused. Well, today he felt like the team was focused, but then they lose by 40. But at the same time, how can the team be focused when your starting center gets pulled 2 minutes into the third quarter because you didn't like his spirit, which means he just wasn't focusing. He wasn't playing well. And then you go out and you lose 141-99. So it's just a brutal performance all around. I can't say much. If you want to join the conversation, you know what to do. 503-248-0620 is the telephone number. YouTube is working right now, so you can go to youtube.com, type in Rip City Radio. We'll be there. And, of course, you can hit me up on social at Chris J. Burkhart. Iron Rod says they look hungover. Oh, my gosh. Well, if they are hungover, we're in trouble because we haven't even got to, the party days yet. Don't they have a game on, the 23rd and the 26th? I mean, you pre-party and you post-party before and after Christmas. New Year's is coming. So, I mean, it's just it's tough. This is tough. Put yourself in my shoes for a second. You come in and you host a show, and it's yeah, they lost by 40 again. Here we go. You can only be so positive, and today is just, it's not positive, man. None of the things that needed to happen for them to even put together a remotely competent basketball game came together. It was just gross. They only shot 38% from the floor. Utah shot 55%. They shot 29% from beyond the arc. Utah shot 43% from beyond the arc. I mean, heck, the Blazers even struggled with the free throw line, shooting just 64% from the free throw line, while Utah shot 91%. So it's just any way you look at it, they lost. And this game wasn't in Utah. You can see the stripe behind me. We are in the Moda Center. This happened on their home court, and that's just gross. That's just gross. Keith says they should make Jody give everybody a refund. Well, joking, not aside, because I do think that'd be kind of a fun way to work for. Didn't Chip Kelly do that after the Boise State game? In his first game as head coach, he gave someone a refund because someone literally sent a mail. I don't even think it was an email. I think it was mail to Chip Kelly about, I was at the game. I paid my hard-earned money. I was disappointed. I deserve a refund. So Chip Kelly refunded this one guy. But tonight was bad. Here's the thing, fans. And this is why I struggle with this game just a little bit more than the Memphis game. The Memphis one was gross. They just got walloped, right? This one was weird because this one I think the fans felt more than that one. That one, you were okay, we lost. It happens. We'll move on. Guess what? Then you had the moment where everyone talked to each other. Things felt good. Boom. You go off. You win 3 in a row. This one was weird because, like I said, as I was mentioning, fans were walking out of the arena going, this is embarrassing. That's what I heard. Also, I can count. It takes one hand for me to count how many times in the 10 years I have covered this team that inside this building I have heard them get booed by their home fans. And tonight's one of them. and I don't need all 5 fingers to count them. Like, that's how kind of rare that happens here in Moda to me. And it happened tonight. I mean, like, everyone booed in the final seconds. The fan sitting in front of media row, there was a guy full on 2 thumbs down, and he wasn't doing it, like the Ducks have been doing with the box and the gladiator thumbs down. No, it was like this was one where the fans were just genuinely disappointed and embarrassed with the performance. Again, I think the one against Memphis, they're like, okay, we'll chalk it up to a weird night. This one, just a genuinely bad performance. Okay, now we're going to go to the phones in a second. I do need to let you know on YouTube, because of my setup, you're not going to hear the phone call. I do apologize. But I'll do my best to let you know what's going on. But we will go out to the phone where Tall Tim is waiting to get ready to go. Tim, welcome into the 5th quarter. It's been a minute, buddy. How you doing? Forever and a day, right? That's how it feels. Yeah. Right. Yeah, it was not good, Tim, and I appreciate the call. And it's time for you to go back to the studio. You got to get some Blazers some happy music that we can go to your YouTube page and listen to, because they need it. But you're right, man. Because here's the thing, like, I get this tank thing, right? I get that. Oh, capture the flag. You want to lose? It's a stacked draft. But we're talking about the worst team in the Western Conference, a team that came in with 4 wins. And again, with the way the things are weighed, 4 wins, 6 wins, 8 wins, I mean, the top 3 teams have the same odds, right? So I get that, but man, tanking, this is not how you tank. Tanking to me is you go out and you put your best foot forward, you just lose some games. You know what? Like, I think if you're going to tank, at least make it fun and at least let the young guys ball, right? So guess what? If DeAndre Ayton doesn't show spirit like he didn't tonight and he got pulled, send a message. Start Jabari Walker on Sunday against the Lakers. Bring Ayton off the bench or don't play him. Like, send a message. Because here's the thing. The Blazers game in the first half, the reason they were down so big in the first half and they got booed as they went to halftime is because there was a massive lack of effort. Massive lack of effort. You know who never lacks effort? Jabari freaking Walker. Has anybody here, as a Blazer fan, ever watched Jabari Walker play a basketball game wearing a Blazer uniform and been like, that he doesn't hustle? You know what? I like Jabari Walker. I just wish he hustled more. Never. And interestingly enough, what happened when he came in? When he came in, he hustled for a loose ball at half court. Got it before it went out of bounds, threw it behind his back. Deni Avdija ended up getting it. They kicked it out in transition. They found Ant in the corner for a 3. Bang, hits it. You feel like the juice is coming back. Why? It's amazing what hustling will get you, right? This Utah team beat you with a list of players that you have to go, who? Micah Potter, Bryce Sensabaugh, Drew Eubanks. Who's that? It's a joke, guys. But the point is, they won. They were hustling. Everywhere you look, they were hustling. They were doing the little thing. It is amazing what hustling will get you. Now, heading back to the YouTube chat, for those of you like Han and King City just got back from the game. That was bad. It was absolutely bad. Timmy Hammock stayed till 0-0-0. If beer wasn't $15 a pop, I'd be plastered. Hey, that is an unreal price tag, by the way. Hey, Timmy Hammock here, Shacker. He's on my rear end because he thinks they would win if I wore a Metallica shirt. So I'm gonna have to try to put my semi-professional, at least like, hey, I actually got dressed this morning, look away, and wear a Metallica shirt to the next home game for him.
Go on a winning streak to wear a Guar shirt.
He'll go on a winning streak if I wear a Guar shirt. Okay, that's a deep pull. That's a deep pull. But oh my gosh, like, hey, there's a band that brings some energy. I don't think they get benched because coach didn't like their spirit. But I guess I gotta wear a Metallica shirt to a Blazer game. That'd be kind of fun. But this is that, like, joking aside though. Back to the game real quick. Like, this was not great. And that was by far the most empty I've seen this arena by the end of a game. And everyone was excited, hoping, hey, we're gonna get in, we're gonna watch a win. That didn't happen, and there was all sorts of stuff. Now there was moments in this one, like I said, DeAndre Ayton only played 2 minutes in the third quarter. Looked like he and Chauncey may have had some words. And Chauncey was asked about that post game, and you know what? We'll let you know what he said when we come back from the break. He will head to the coach's corner. I'll hand out a game ball. Maybe. Does anyone deserve one? Maybe I'll give a game ball to the fans who stuck this one out, like Timmy Hammock, who deserves a game ball for sitting there through triple zeros. Next time, when the arena's that empty, someone just get on social, say, Burkhart, I'm over here in section 220. I need a friend to come sit by me. I'll come watch the whole rest of the game with you. All right, Chris Burkhart here with you. Gonna take a quick break, and then we'll return here with plenty more on the fifth quarter on your home of the Blazers, Rip City Radio 620.
Everyone leaves all their drinks out. I'm worried I'm going to tip them over when I put stuff away.
All right, let's head back to the YouTube chat while we got a sec. Look at that. The great Michael Shacker walked behind me a second ago. Han, we were going to come over to say hi to you, but you sat directly. Oh, okay, I got you. Sat directly across from me. Okay. I do appreciate that. That was still a highlight of that game where I got to meet you, Han, and then meet the family. Now, I'm so bad with faces and names, so if I see you again and you have to reintroduce yourself, please don't take it personally. I'm just really, really bad with names. That's why I'm just gonna start calling people by like their YouTube name, like Timmy Hammock, if that is your real name, right? Free Beer Fridays. That would be dollar beer night, dudes. Gosh, could you imagine? Oh. Games like today are why they take the caps off the cups and won't let you take open cans half the time, and they have all these rules for things you might throw. Like, it's not good. It's yeah, prices could come down just a smidge. Just a smidge. You can't tell me if you sold beers at out of arena prices, you still wouldn't make a financial killing. You absolutely would. Hey, at least y'all got free Jamba. That's right. Hey, the Jamba promotion's money. Like, who doesn't like a good Jamba juice? That's where it's at, man. But as the comment said, like, man, they wouldn't even take the last shot to send them home with nuggets, Shacker. Unreal. Shacker's telling me how much time's left. I can see the clock.
So the Jazz, when they score 123 points, they get free Arby's.
123?
Yeah.
Why does it have to be 123?
I don't know how that. Well, because they don't want to give it out every game.
That's a That's it. That's a funny. Okay, that's funny that you mentioned that though, because I remember like the 100-point like treat. Like first off, I miss chalupa days. Free chalupas were awesome, but it's like you felt so good when they hit 100 because it rarely happened, right? Like it rarely happened. So when they hit it, you're like, sweet, free French fries or free chalupa, whatever. Now, do you know, Shacker, that there is not a single team in the NBA right now that averages less than 100 points? That would be like going back to the 90s and it's an 80-point promotion. Every time the Blazers score 80 points, you get free Dairy Queen. Like, that's what it is. Free corn dogs at 125 points. I'm down. Free Pronto Pups. Let's get it done. Give Game Ball to the YouTube channel. All right, Shacker, we are going to give out a Game Ball, okay? Like, I think, like, I just like imagining, like, Jody Allen going home and, like, watching semi-pro. Like, can we?
Oh, is she gonna fight a bear?
Yeah, I was going to say, Chauncey Billups or Joe Cronin fights a bear at halftime. Yeah, Han, I wouldn't be surprised, man. That's clear that there was an issue there, and we'll hear about it here in a second. We're almost back to radio, but I mean, only playing 2 minutes in the second half, and then Jabari going the rest of the way. Yeah, there was a statement there for sure. All right, YouTube. I apologize if you're on YouTube. You probably won't be able to hear Chauncey just because of the setup I have tonight. But on radio, we'll be able to hear him. Let's head out to the press conference, hear what Coach Billups had to say following this loss to the Jazz.
It was unfortunate because I really did think that we was ready in this game today. Thought we had a pretty good shoot around.
It's my trick.
Thought
I don't
today
know
was
if it
good when we
works. I
got
hope it
here.
does.
Just our
We're getting
prep,
fancy
what
over
we was
here.
going to be prepared for. And
Yeah, you're off radio.
got out there and nothing ever worked, from the very beginning. So that was unfortunate. And
Oh, you turned me off?
it was a tough
Yeah,
one.
you're not on
It was
radio
tough.
right now.
What do you
Even
think
if you hear,
caused that?
you're not
Is
on
there anything
radio.
you can pinpoint? Not even one thing, multiple
5
things.
minutes. I didn't edit it. We'll just let it ride.
Our
We're just
spirit
trying to
just
see if
wasn't
this
right,
will let
man.
my
Our
YouTube
spirit
get
just wasn't
audio.
right, to be honest with you. Once the game kind of started, there was this game is like you got to kind of be on one accord, in this game at all times.
10:25. Try to be
NBA
out
is
by
very tough. I mean,
10:40.
you look over there, they don't mark
After
it in
game
as a
ball,
late
anything
scratch.
before 10:40 is perfect.
They have they got some guys out. You feel good
Okay.
about
Oh, we
what's
won't go
going
that
on. I
long.
always
Yeah,
think
that's
those are
perfect.
dangerous games, obviously letdown games, but
I'll be out of here. Help you
these
tear
are
down.
all
Hopefully be home
anybody
by
that puts that
you and
jersey
I'll be
on
home
in
a
the
little
NBA
after 11,
is
baby.
No, I got it.
a great
I
player.
got you.
I mean,
That way we can walk out
some
together.
people's roles
All
are
good.
different, but you got to
Just
respect
give me elbow
every
room
single
and I'll
person
get
that
it
puts
done.
on a jersey.
I have to take inventory.
And we didn't do that. We just didn't do that.
My beaver
For
stuff's
some
getting
strange
mixed with
reason,
this stuff.
we felt like we were the better team in this game, and they showed us that we weren't.
So do you think the team came in overconfident?
Yeah, I do. I thought we had an obvious letdown, with that late scratch. I think from marketing,
Billie
I'm telling
Eilish
you,
and John
I really
Legend
thought that we were
performing
prepared for
here
this game.
before the next game.
It's really unfortunate that obviously, we weren't. They got every single thing that they wanted in the game. We talked about if we could rebound the basketball, we would have chances to score. Couldn't rebound the ball. Try to take care of it. We turned it over. Couldn't stop them. Just couldn't stop them. Anything. So it was leaking from all over the whole thing tonight.
Young team, but John Morant and Bane didn't play in that loss. And
Lots of leaks.
talked about how you play against a team that's losing some stars, that the guys rise up. Did no one take that lesson to heart?
I mean, and I talked about it before this game, with Markkanen being out, and said this is an opportunity for some of these other guys that they don't generally get, that they'll have freedom to play and they'll just run up and down and play free. And if we let them play free, we're gonna be in a tough. It's gonna be tough. I mean, if we play physical and we pressure and we do what we do, we got a chance to get away out of here with a win. And obviously, we didn't take that very serious.
At home, add to that because your three worst losses have all been here, which is kind of unusual.
I don't know if that adds to that or not. You know, I just think it's a mentality. God bless you. I think it's a mentality wherever you go. You know, you have to just try to play the right way. It shouldn't matter if you're at home or on the road. I don't know what that is.
After the Memphis game, you seem more sort of angry, right? Like this one seems just more maybe disheartening. How would you describe sort of having this happen again in some ways, the vibe there?
Well, I mean, in my experience, and this, I don't know if this is what it is, but in my experience, period, you know, two or three or four times a season in 82 games, it's going to be ugly like this, you know. So I'm not undercooking this thing at all. I'm pissed off. You can believe that. But I'm also, you know, I think that we're going to be much better than this, you know, going forward. So we'll be all right.
The DA only played the first 2 minutes of the second half.
The spirit in the game.
You're gonna deal with like rim protection without DC and Rob coming back in the next couple games.
Yeah, we've struggled with that, you know, without Donovan and Rob. You know, those are our best rim protectors. So obviously we've struggled with that. You see a team like Utah just continue to keep attacking the basket and the rim. You know, we didn't do a good job of that tonight, along with every other thing and aspect of the game. But that's a problem.
Why did you think Ant and Sharp couldn't get going?
I don't know. I thought both of them got some shots and just couldn't make. You know, and they weren't even blitzing. You know, they were playing their normal coverages, but we just couldn't really get away from them. We couldn't create the space. We couldn't make. You know, we didn't do anything that we said we were going to do in the game.
Any update on Tumani?
All right, there was Coach Billups. I'll get to him in a second. It's time for a game ball, and I think I'm just going to do what I'm told. I'm going to give the game ball out to the YouTube chat for sticking with me and making this this post-game show tolerable after an absolute rough loss for the Trailblazers. My mind was just blown. I just looked up and the scoreboard was gone. Look, it's way up there now. They put it up in the rafters. I wasn't even paying attention. Didn't even see the thing get pulled away. Listening to this, do the show from here all the time, Shacker. I'll set up YouTube. People can see the court, get some behind the scenes, what's going on. I just got to set it up so they can hear Coach. I'll do the full setup last time. I was trying to see if I can get it from my phone, and it seemed to work all right. I just got to do this double mic thing, but we're having fun. But I appreciate you guys for tuning in. And, again, that was just an absolute rough loss for the Blazers, 141-99 to the Utah Jazz. And it's really hard to wrap your head around how you can have these losses continue to happen over and over again. If it's a roster issue, it's a coaching issue, like what is it? It's not acceptable. As the fans were saying as they were exiting the building tonight, embarrassing. I think that's a good word. Like, I don't know if the Memphis game was embarrassing. That was frustrating. This was embarrassing. Like, you left, you weren't even mad. You're just like, it's just embarrassing. Like, yeah, I think I'm going to go put on my Timbers jersey or something. Like,
Glickman's on the phone.
yeah, he's looking to make a trade, right? But yeah, that one was just embarrassing, man. And then I don't think a team should ever get booed off of their home court, but they didn't give the fans a reason not to, so it absolutely makes sense. And again, I get this whole tanking thing, because maybe this team is trying to lose games so they get a better draft spot. But like, you don't tank by losing by 40 points a night. You can go out there and put your best foot forward and lose a game but at least show a little bit of heart and some hustle and some desire and some respect for yourself in the game. There just wasn't any of that tonight, man. It's just like you're out there, DeAndre Ayton. You're a max player. You're making fat money, and you get pulled because coach doesn't like your spirit because you can't show a little bit of hustle. Like, that's crazy. I was joking with the Utah radio crew because they were up here. I'm like, I'm surprised you guys are leaving right now. Like, after that game, you guys probably could have carried on a post-game show all night long, and they just laughed. Like, yeah, that was a lot of fun. Like, they're having a rough season, but their team showed heart and fight tonight, and that's why they picked up this victory, man. So they absolutely deserved it. Portland, though, they got to figure it out. Still lots of travel and all that, and man, it doesn't get any easier. All right, that's going to do it for the fifth quarter. I need to go to bed. I'm not paying $15, but I think I do have a cold one waiting in the fridge for me, baby. Cost efficiency. Hey, Blazers, though, they take on the Lakers on Sunday at 6:30. Remember that I'll be there for Blazers game day with you at 4:30 sharp. Chad will have your pregame show at 5:30. Tip-off at 6:30 with Travis Demers on the call. To everyone, to Salt Tim for calling in, to everyone who's listening in their car, who's too afraid to call in but enjoys listening to me. There are a few of you. I've talked to you. I know you exist. And to everyone in the YouTube chat, all my regulars, you guys are absolutely awesome. Han says, thanks for hanging in there, Chris. Are you allowed to drink? I'll get you a beer next time. I'll let you. You hit me up. I'll let you. Absolutely. And hey, I'm going to say, you say thanks for me hanging in. You guys make hosting this fun because it's hard to host a post-game show when the team plays a game like that, but you guys make it tolerable because that's what makes the Rip City family fun, right? We're one big family. We're going to get through this. We're going to ride this wave together. I'm an Islander. As Moana said, we were voyagers, okay? I'm going to get you guys beyond the reef. And we're gonna restore the heart of Tafiti before this is all said and done. For all you people listening who have parents, you got that. For those of you who don't, like Michael Shacker, you're really, really confused right now. All right, that's going to do it for the fifth quarter, guys. I love everybody. You're awesome. Once again, Blazers fall to the Jazz, 141-99. For Michael Shacker, for the boss man Chad Doing, and for everyone around this great city, I'll talk to you next time.